Today I'll be showing you how to triple boot Mac OS X Snow Leopard, Windows 7, and Ubuntu 11.10. The first thing you're going to do is insert your boot disk, which would be iBoot, RBoot, or Empire EFI for AMD users. Once your boot disk loads, insert Snow Leopard, and once Snow Leopard boots, go to Utilities, select Disk Utility. Once Disk Utility opens, select your hard drive. Once you select your hard drive, go to the Partition tab. Under Volume Scheme, select 2 partitions. Once you have 2 partitions, name them whatever you want to name them. But format 1 Mac OS X Extended Journaled, and format the second Fat. Once you have all that squared away, go to Options and select GUID Partition Table. Hit OK, then hit Apply. Then hit Partition. It will take about 30 seconds to partition your hard drive. Once that finishes, insert your Windows 7 install disk and reboot. Once your Windows 7 install disk boots up, select your language, then hit Next. Click Install Now. Accept the terms and hit Next. Select Custom Install and select your Windows 7 partition. Go down to Drive Options and hit Format. Once it formats, hit Next. The installation process takes about half an hour, so I'll come back when it's finished. Okay, it's finalizing the settings right now. Okay, I'm finished installing Windows, and I've installed all of my drivers. A reminder, go to the manufacturer's website for your make and model of your computer and download all the drivers onto a flash drive. then install them after you install Windows. So after you've installed Windows, insert your Ubuntu 11.10 DVD or CD, or you can mount the ISO using a program like Power ISO. There it is, and it's loading. Okay, now select Run Wubby. Click Yes. Says there's an error, but hit Try Again. Hit Try Again. Then select Install Inside Windows. Select the size you want it. I'm going to select 20 gigabytes. Select your language and username. Put in a password. And after you do that, just hit Install. Okay, now it's taking care of its business, and takes about 20 minutes for this phase, and I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so it's done. Now you need to reboot your computer. Okay, now it's booting up, and it's saying that it's completing Ubuntu installation. And there you get the purple screen, which is a good sign. Installing Ubuntu using Wubby is a lot safer than installing it alongside Windows straight off the disk, because it will destroy your Windows bootloader and you won't be able to boot back into Windows. Wireless networks are available, but you don't need to connect to one right away. Saying install, verifying the installation configuration. And there you have it. It'll take about another 20 minutes to finish installing, and I will come back when it finishes. Okay, now the installation has completed. Boot back up. Windows Boot Manager now says Windows 7 and Ubuntu. Select Ubuntu. Then you'll get the Ubuntu bootloader. Select the first option. Press Enter. Give it a minute. And there it goes. Ubuntu boot screen. Here is the logon screen. I always click on options and select Ubuntu 2D because for some reason I can't use Ubuntu as it normally is, so just select Ubuntu 2D if you're not sure. Log in. Everything appears to be looking normal. And there you have 2 of the 3 operating systems installed. Now insert your boot disk, either iBoot, RBoot, or Empire EFI for AMD. I have an AMD processor, so I'm going to use Empire EFI for AMD. Make sure you select CD, DVD in your boot options. Takes about 15 seconds for this to boot up. For Intel users using iBoot and RBoot, it will load a lot faster than Empire EFI. Us AMD users don't really have a choice, so yeah. Okay, so it's finished, but we do get this cool Darth Vader background. So once you get here, press eject, and then insert your Snow Leopard install disk. Give it a couple seconds to read the disk, then hit F5. If you have a function keyboard, hit function, then F5. Give it a minute. There it is. Hit enter. It will proceed to boot Snow Leopard. This will take a couple minutes, but nothing to worry about. It lists a couple errors, but it's still going to run. Also, another thing I might have forgotten to mention, make sure your SATA controller is set to AHCI and not ATA. To make sure this, start your computer and go to your BIOS. And most computers are already in AHCI, but if you get a kernel panic, when you get a kernel panic when trying to install Mac OS X, it probably means that you need to fix your BIOS. Okay, it finally got to the actual Snow Leopard disk. Select your language and hit next. Preparing the installation. Okay, hit continue. Hit agree. Select your Mac OS X partition. Go to customize. Once that loads, unselect language translations, because that will add like 4 hours to the install time. Installing Mac OS X, it'll take about 40 to 45 minutes to install. So you need to be patient with it. It'll say 27 minutes, but it's not going to take that short of a time. And I'll be back when it finishes. Okay, I'm finished. It says install failed. Do not worry about that. Just hit restart and reinsert your boot disk. Okay, so it's booting your boot disk now. Almost done completing your triple boot system. Okay, now go to your Mac, partition, hit down, and select boot verbose. And don't be alarmed that it doesn't show Ubuntu in this boot menu, because it's installed on the same partition as Windows, but it's only going to show Windows. On another note, AMD users will always need the boot disk if they want to use Mac OS X. You don't need the boot disk if you just want to use Windows or Ubuntu. Intel users, I believe you can use multi-beast after you finish installing Mac OS X, and it will install a bootloader on your hard drive that you can use to boot Mac OS X and Windows. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, I'm in. Here you have the welcome screen. Any minute now. Welcome screen. Input all your information and I'll be back when I finish doing that. And there it is, Mac OS X. Type in my password, log in. Now I upgraded mine to Mac OS X 10.6.8. If you need help doing that, I have posted a video link in the description on how to do that. It doesn't take that long to boot up. There's a finder bar, and my dock, and my hard drives. About this Mac OS X 10.6.8. It only shows me with 1 gig of RAM. That's because I'm using Empire EFI, Intel users shouldn't have that problem. If you do encounter any problems, comment on this video or send me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This has been Mike Jones, and I hope that this has helped you triple boot your system. Until next time.